having difficulty being present, dealing with things like anxiety, anything that sort of just throws you off of your game. How do you ground, sort of get back to center, so to speak? What does that look like so that you can create?
Hey, yo, pimping on the east side. I know this a West Coast beat, but it's a freestyle. I've been kinda stressed and I freaked out. Good thing I got a brain that could reroute. That shit ain't got nothing to do with me.
All right.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Yes.
To another rousing episode of Black Person, You Famous Yet?
Come on, rousing. Not yet. Good thing, bad thing. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. So we did a special episode last week, our first episode with a guest, and our wonderful guest is back. And for those of our viewers and our listeners who may not have been a part of the experience that we created last week with our guest, wanted to give another little intro to welcome them back to the space. So, Caitlin Cornell Mullane is a licensed creative arts therapist, drama therapist, and executive functioning coach based in NYC. She specializes in working with ADHD and neurodivergent clients using creative interventions like somatic engagement to help clients connect with their bodies, role-playing to reality test thoughts and situations, and art making to externalize shame spirals. Her approach blends these creative techniques with practical executive functioning coaching, helping clients improve organization, time management, and emotional regulation. She offers individual therapy and executive functioning coaching, remote and in-person, in Ridgewood, Queens. Thank you. Welcome back, Caitlin.
Thank you for having me back. I'm so excited to be here again.
Oh, we're super excited to have you here. You are such a breath of fresh air, a breath of knowledge, for the last episode. So we're super happy to have you back.
Yes.
I love talking about anything mental health related and making it really accessible and digestible. So I'm excited that you are providing this opportunity and platform.
Yeah. We're very grateful for the space, for the energy. So, last week we spoke some about the nature of ADHD and ways that creatives or other people who are neurodivergent may be able to manage some of the things that come up to sort of navigate and still be able to create. So this conversation, we wanted to shift gears a little bit, still, of course, keeping creatives in mind, but wanting to have a conversation that could perhaps be more broadly applicable to our audience. So we're going to talk about the ways in which, when you're facing any sort of emotional dysregulation in your system, in your body, having difficulty being present, dealing with things like anxiety, anything that sort of just throws you off of your game, how do you ground, sort of get back to center, so to speak? What does that look like so that you can create? So we're thinking, if you're about to go on stage for a performance in a couple of hours, or you're at the deadline for a big creative project, whatever it is that sort of is relevant to you. So, and Caitlin is going to support us and guide us through an exercise.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think this conversation is coming on the heels of the episode that we shot where I was talking about the situation that happened with me with the IRS coming from my pockets, and how I found myself in this very dysregulated place, but also, was able to shift my perspective and really, remind myself that regardless of what was going on, that I'm still in a really blessed space. And the idea behind it was still being open to give to other people, even when you're in a space where you feel like, you don't have anything to give. But talking about this in particular, it brings to mind a situation that happened to me where I was on set. I was shooting a film, and in the middle of takes, I had gotten a phone call. I was crying. I was so angry, like I wanted to fight, the person who did it. But at the same time, I was on set. I had a job to do, and I had a choice to make. And this isn't the first time that something similar to this has come up. There have been like situations where I'm in the middle of a run for a show, and like a castmate's family member dies, and it's like, okay, like, do you go on, or do you take care of yourself, or do you take care of yourself and then go on? And so there are like so many things that are going on in your mind, in your heart, and in your body. And my biggest thing that I think I want to talk about is like, when these things happen in our lives, how can we as creatives take care of ourselves and put ourselves in a space to where if we decide that we want to go on, how do we make that happen?
Yeah, I wish we lived in a world where it was normalized that, oh, something big is happening for you, or something upsetting or something traumatic has happened in you, in your life, with your family. Take a couple days, do what you need. I wish that was just the autopilot in every workspace, and sadly it's not. And I think I really love to explain the neuroscience behind what happens to us when we're dysregulated, because I think when we demystify what's actually happening in our brain and have that understanding when we're in those moments, there's a little bit more of a feeling of groundedness and control. So your amygdala is your alarm system. When you're in a traumatic situation or you find out really upsetting news, that's the alarm bells that go off. And unfortunately, in those moments, it kind of shuts down your prefrontal cortex, which is where we're able to, that's really where all your executive functioning skills live. And that's where you're able to like really make, it's higher thinking. It's where you're able to make decisions, regulate, control your emotions, think clearly. The amygdala is big buddies with the limbic system. And the limbic system, this is the worst part, is the one that's like, oh, something upsetting is going on in your brain. We're going to make it so it goes over and over and over and over and creates that feedback loop. So it's so difficult to regulate because the part of your brain that allows you to regulate is totally shut down by the amygdala. And so we've got brain stuff happening, but you're also physiologically experiencing, sometimes you get that tight chest, or you get that dry feeling in your throat, whatever happens when you're dysregulated. And it's so difficult when your brain is not working with you, it's working against you. And your body is also giving you these symptoms, which makes it even more heightened to engage with that critical thinking of, how do I calm down? How do I regulate? How do I stay present in the moment and do the job that I need to do?
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you respond before I keep going.
Yeah. I mean, so what would you say? I mean, because again, there's such a tremendous sort of thing occurring within us that is outside of our immediate ability to like get a hold of. Like if you find yourself under stress, under pressure, in that kind of situation. So is there like a common thing that works for people in those situations as far as being able to regulate, or does it vary from person to person?
Yeah, so this is where it gets really cool, because whenever people say like, just take a deep breath, I want to be like, shut up. Don't tell me to breathe. Don't tell me to relax. Get out. Don't look at me. But deep breathing does help. So when your amygdala is going off, it activates your sympathetic nervous system, which gets you ready for like action. It's the lizard part of your brain of, okay, we either need to fight or we need to run. There's other responses within that, freeze, shutting down. But when you breathe, so there's a polyvagal breathing. It's where you breathe out for longer than you breathe in. It resets the vagus nerve, which activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which that's the system in your body that tells you to rest and digest. So when you deep breathe and you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 7, and you breathe out for 8, it feels a little weird. You get a little lightheaded sometimes, but you do that 3 to 4 times. It resets your system.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm there's a lot of things that come to mind, particularly with that exercise. So is this something in my mind that like works best if you're applying it yourself, or like if I saw Deshawn going through something, would it be possible or advisable to like offer that to her, or like, you know what I mean? I'm just thinking about if you witness somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, because your prefrontal cortex is not really doing its thing, you're not always able to go, oh, logically, I know I can deep breathe and it will reset my system and I'll feel more calm. Not always going to happen. So knowing this and being able to check in and say, hey, I'm going to start deep breathing. When you feel ready, join me, and I'm going to count as I'm breathing. So you can guide yourself and guide the other person you're with. So there's that co-regulation happening, which is really great because your mirror neurons are going to sense that the other person is calm, the other person is regulating, and it's going to be much easier to be in that autopilot state of self-regulation.
So I want to, because I started doing it when Caitlin was describing it first, but would you mind taking us through that? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay too, because I was thinking 7.
Yeah, of course. So first, do me a favor and just like roll your shoulders a little bit just to loosen them. We tend to like get a little tight. It's also really great to practice this breathing exercise once a day. So that way, when you are calm and regulated, you know how to do this. And when you are dysregulated, it's a little bit easier to pull on it because you're already practicing it when you're regulated. So I'm gonna say it, and then I'm gonna count you through it, just so you know what we're gonna do. So you're gonna breathe in through your nose for 4 counts. Then you're gonna hold your breath for 7 counts. And then you're gonna exhale through your mouth for 8 counts. Ready? Okay. In through the nose, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out through the mouth, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In through the nose, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more through the nose, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I'm ready for a nap.
Just like you're breathing.
She ain't even let the breath.
Rest and digest.
End of pod.
And done. No, this was great. So my follow-up question would be, okay, you're dysregulated, right? You got to go on stage, right? You got to do a show. Breathe. Is there anything else that, you know?
Oh, I got two more tips. I got 2 more. So this one's a little weird. a little funky. I'm gonna be
More
honest.
weird, the better.
You take your finger and you put it right in the opening canal of your ear, and you go in circles while you breathe. You can do both ears or just one.
Real good. Is this where they got that woosah from from Bad Boys?
It's possible. That was more of
What
a
you can
rub.
do is you can just press on the flap over your ear canal. Yep. The ears are they're because your vagus nerve is right here. So if you're pressing, it's putting pressure on the vagus nerve and it resets it. You can also massage your earlobes.
Woosah.
Some of these things we do naturally sometimes. Our bodies kind of know. Yeah.
So the ears is a place where so other than pressing on it and the vagus nerve being here, what is there something else about the ears that regulate us, or is it literally just the vagus nerve?
It's pretty much the vagus nerve.
Got it. My dad is like like loves his ears to be rubbed
Yeah.
by my mom.
Yeah.
Like-
I've seen that in other tribes as well. Where, like, there's a person who, like, there's a thing that will seem to soothe them from small children, but to, like, adults as well who, like,
It's
have
the
that.
ear.
Yeah.
So now we know the science behind it, thanks to Caitlin.
Yeah, yes, the vagus nerve. We'll have a glossary at the end of the episode because Caitlin was using mad terminology and body parts that I forgot I had. So yeah.
Yeah. No, like it's so funny because my dad will literally like fix something in the house and he's like, I'll do it for an ear rub.
Wow, that's so funny. That's his currency. If only that's all it took, hugs and ear rubs to just get around,
And now we know why. So I'm curious, Caitlin, in our pre-podcast conversation, you were talking about that there are differences between how people who with ADHD or who are neurodivergent kind of like react or live in a dysregulated space versus people who aren't, and maybe your advice would be different. So how would that differ?
I think with neurodivergent folks, because the prefrontal cortex sometimes is it's doing its best, but not all of the tools are always activated. So having a buddy, letting someone know like, hey, this is what it looks like when I'm dysregulated and this is what helps me. Allowing yourself to ask for help, to find someone who can like notice the signs and come over and be able to like snap you back in, because it is much more difficult for a neurodivergent person to pull on those tools to regulate than it is for a neurotypical person. So there's already a little bit of an extra obstacle to regulation.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because there was a show I had at the end of last year. I was, like a lengthy performance, and I remember there was like a sort of reception before the show and kind of mix and mingle and DJ, and I started to feel super overstimulated and just like, dysregulated, like, and like having trouble being in my body. And I was just kind of like wandering around like the edge of the event, like sort of, it's weird. Like it's like I had trouble just knowing what I could do to like get myself together. And one of the coordinators for the event, like, had come over, to ask me like if I was okay. And I just told her I was feeling overstimulated, and she like led me to like a place like away from the, that I could just sit and having like a buddy, at least being able to tell yourself it's okay to ask for help. Like there's no shame in that. Like we all need it at one point or another. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that, Caitlin, and reminded me of what's available to us, as far as support.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you go.
No, I was going to say, my question was, so it's not necessarily that like the function of regulating themselves is different. It's just that they may need more support doing the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I'm glad you brought up this point of overstimulation. So that's another piece that we want our buddies, our neurotypical buddies, to know, is that a neurotypical person can much more easily regulate in an overstimulating environment. A neurodivergent person, it's a spectrum, but I know sometimes if I'm in a crowded subway car and I'm already anxious, it's so hard for me to regulate, even if I'm doing my breathing, because I'm so overstimulated by the fluorescent lights and all the talking and all the people and the hot bodies so close to me. And it's so difficult for me to remember my tools. And then when I try to use my tools, I'm getting distracted by the overstimulation. So also, if you're able to, go to a quiet space, go to a space that's just a little calmer, a little less stimulating.
So we have the breath, what an actor would call breath work, but you called
Polyvagal
breathing.
Yes.
1 point for Victor. Polyvagal breathing. We have woosah.
Yes. Getting all up in the ears.
Getting all up in the ears. And then you said you have another one for us?
Yes, vocal humming. So when you take a deep breath in, and then you can either ooh or hum. So and let it out till the breath is out. I don't know how nice this is going to be for your listeners with all the humming we're doing. That was a great face. That was a great face.
Sound heavy.
So to get a little creative with it, I utilize vocal humming to imagine a bubble that starts from the center of your chest and expands, that acts as your protective bubble. So that way, anything that you don't want inside your bubble, if you need to go on stage, this bubble is going to come out and protect you. Anything that is not allowed in that bubble has to sit outside.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love how a lot of the work that you do is incorporating of the imagination. As artists and creatives, we rely heavily on our imagination. And so having therapeutic work that leans on that as a strength, I could see being super helpful. Yeah. How much you charge, girl? I may need to come to you. We're just super grateful for you, Caitlin, because every step of the way you've been not only knowledge, but just like full of resources and wanting to help, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to bring you on here. I feel like you were the most helpful out of everybody that we talked to. And also like the most aware, because obviously this is Black person. Are you famous yet? And you're not Black, but you're also aware. So we love that. We love that, and thank you so much for being a friend of the show.
Yes.
And this is great. Do you have anything you want to say?
I think
before Zoom cuts her off,
DD got it all, summed it all up.
Summed it all up.
You know what I mean? Till next time. With less sound effects in the background.
Now we love sound. You were inspired or motivated by anything you heard, please share our podcast
with a friend or an artist you would like to encourage on their journey.